everyone. This is the second in the 100 series about saying 100 brachos per day. And last time we quoted the Gemara in Menachos that says explicitly a person is obligated to say 100 blessings per day for whatever reason. And ultimately, the Shiltei Giborim together with the Mishnah Bura both said on a regular day it happens naturally. Don't even worry about it. However, there is an exception to the rule, and that is Shabbos and Yom Tov. In place of 19 blessings in the Amidah, we have only 7 blessings, so we come up short. What should we do in that situation? Or to be precise, do we need to induce saying 100 brachos or not? Based on the formulation of the Gemara and Menachos, the answer is 100% yes, you have to induce it. Rav Chia, Berei de Rav Ivya, on Shabbos and Yom Tov, would force himself to eat some fruit and snack to get to these 100 blessings that he's missing. And therefore, says the Rosh, the Shabbos and Yom Tov, Dilo Nafshi Brachot Memalelahu, V'Yispa Merka Omegade, Shabbos and Yom Tov, snack and keep a tally because you won't get to 100 blessings. His son, the Tur, when codifying this in his code of Jewish law, says, V'tzarich kol adam lizaher bahem, v'hapochet al yivchot. You better be careful and not say less than 100 blessings. This is the way the Shulchan Aruch also paskins. In Simon Memvav Seif Gimel, he says, Chayav adam levarich b'chol yom mea brachot lefachot. A person is obligated every day to say at least 100 blessings. And later on in Hilchos Shabbos, in Simon Reish Tzadik, he says, Yarbebe peirot u'megadim u'minei reach kedei la'ashli minyan mea brachot. You have to go ahead and make it up on a Shabbos and Yom Tov by eating fruits and vegetables, making brachas on them as you should before and after, so that you get to this magic number 100. And now you understand why in many Sephardic shuls they have a fresh set of besamim on the bima. That's for Shabbos, where you come up short, you go, you make berkat borei minei besamim, or borei asvei besamim, another bracha to the tally. Summing it up, the stay chemed, Rav Medini from Hebron, 19th century, comes along and says, how can you think otherwise? The Gemara said, Chayav, you're obligated. Let me buy the data sofim shum chiyuv min Torah. Ela after na katinan te no elam chiyuv min Rabban. Lama lo yeh chayav kol adam k'shiyuro. Whether it's biblical, rabbinic, what do I care? The Gemara said, Chayav, you have to go ahead and make it up if you come up short. As the Mishnah Bura says, try to fill it in by eating fruits and vegetables on Shabbos. However, this is all based on the Gemara and Menachos and our Talmud Bavli, which we usually paskin like. However, the Talmud Yerushalmi doesn't say like the Talmud Bavli. It quotes Rabbi Meir a little differently. And listen to the words, because the nuance is it's important in this situation. Ein lecha echad miYisrael, says Rabbi Meir, she'ino semea mitzvot b'chol yom, that doesn't do 100 mitzvot every day. He reads the Shema, he says blessings before and after the Shema, both morning and night. Ochelet pitom mevarech lefaneh v'acharei, you eat a meal, you make a bracha before, bracha after, and you daven 3 times a day, etc. According to this Gemara, he doesn't say chayav, you have to make up 100 brachas, but rather he's stating a fact that no Jew goes through a day without doing 100 mitzvot. And this is exactly the formulation in the Tosefta and Berachot as well. Haya Rabbi Meir Omer, en lecha adam Yisrael, she'eno semea mitzvot b'chol yom. Impossible to find someone that doesn't get to this naturally. In other words, if according to the Talmud Bavli and those that paskin like the Talmud Bavli, amongst them the Shulchan Aruch, it's a chiyuv, it's an obligation. According to the Talmud Yerushalmi and the Tosefta, it's a natural occurrence that should happen naturally on each and every day. And indeed, the Tanya Rabbati, a little less known posek, but quoted by the Magen Avraham many times, Rabbi Yechiel be Rabbi Yekutiel, his years 1250 to 1320, Rishonim period, Italy, he says, you should be careful with this, but he doesn't say chiyuv. He says, "Amechaven b'Yom Tov l'mea brachot." On a day like Yom Tov, when you come up short, Yanuchol brachot al rosho, God will put a blessing on your head, as Fiddler on the Roof said. Well, that's not a chiyuv. That's more like a mitzvah. Yes, but maybe not obligatory as much as the Talmud Bavli said. The Chida goes one step further. He says the Yerushalmi and the Tosefta are correct. He says Rab Chia in the Bavli that on Shabbos and Yontiv would make up the brachot by eating fruits and vegetables. Tarach umimalelahu basparke umegade. He went out of his way to do it. Umuchach taya zahir lihishtadel. He was very careful about this. Af imayayel torach, even though he went through great strides. In other words, Omnam kevan dechazinan b'shas yiches dafka Rav Chia berei de Rav Ivya, since the Gemara said not make 100 blessings a day, and on Shabbos and Yontiv, fill it in with fruits and vegetables. But rather, the Gemara said, make 100 blessings a day. And then it brings a story about a rabbi that filled it in with fruits and vegetables. Mashma, dafka. It means that he was very careful with this thing. Lamadno, delitroach mizeh midat chasidut. To go out of your way to make up 100 blessings when you come up short, that's a midat chasidut, a pious thing to do. But an obligation, it is not, according to the Chidah. In other words, when the Talmud Bavli brings the story about Rav Chia, he went a step further and made it into an obligation and started to fill in the missing brachos by eating fruits and vegetables. Not, he says, is the case halachically. Halachically, you have to do it naturally. If you come up short, you come up short. Now you can understand the words of Rabbi Yerucham Perla. Rabbi Yerucham Perla, 20th century genius, Talmid Chacham Muvhak, wrote a perush on a piyut that Rav Saadia Gaon wrote for Shavuos with the 10 commandments, subsuming all the 613 mitzvot of the Torah under one of those 10 commandments. Well, he made it into a 3-volume book, and then he wrote the following about this. Lo mashma deika chiyuva v'inachinami sha'areshut biyado l'shev b'ta'anit v'chen b'shabbos v'yontiv leika chova medina lemalot. Indeed, this is not an obligation, just like the Yerushalmi the Tosefta says, Shabbos and Yontiv, you've come up short, you come up short. Ella, the orcha de milta. The Gemara was just stating a fact that should have happened naturally. Dechol adam Yisrael lefi darko b'achilato b'shteyato shebechol yom ulefi hamitzvot v'atfilot hamutolot alav mimela nitchayev b'mei brachot. Just based on our normal routine every single day, you will get to 100. And therefore, Rav Chia berei de Rav Ivya was an exception. He kept the tally, but you don't have to. That's a midat chasidut. Based on that, you can understand how do you get to these 100 brachot if you're short. According to the first view, you have to use fruits and vegetables, but according to the second view, if you're short, can you use other means? More about that in the next podcast.